Welcome back to the workshop. It's Tim for Tim Kraus Electronics. We're working on the Foxer amplifier, and in this video we're going to start wiring up tube sockets and get started on the front panel controls as well. I'm going to just jump right in, so I'll show you what I've done so far. Okay, I've already got these shielded cables prepped and ready to solder in place. One of them's coming off the input jack going to V1A. One of them's coming off of the channel 1 volume, and one off the channel 2 volume going to the two grids on the second tube. I'm going to take this terminal strip out because originally, I had two reasons for using this. The first was that there were a couple of wires that weren't long enough coming off the transformer. And so that was just an easy way for me to be able to tie it in somewhere and then bring another wire off of it to finish the run. I actually solved that problem just by flipping the transformer around and relocating this board here. I was going to put this in a different spot, but with it mounted on the side like that, I no longer need this terminal strip. I'll leave the bolts there because that's, two of those two are part of what's holding that brace on. So I'm going to start by wiring up these tube sockets, and I'm going to start with the heater wires. So we got our filament wires coming off the transformer, going up to our lamp here, and then coming back down to all our tubes. Okay, I got ahead of myself again. These two input stages have a shared cathode resistor. So this is supposed to go over to this tube. Alright, I did a little bit of extra work off camera, maybe more than I should have, but this area over here was kind of bothering me, just so many wires flopping around and kind of getting in my way, so I wanted to just get this all sorted out. These two fuses here are the HT fuses, so one for each side of the output, or the secondary on the power transformer. And then I've got all the wires coming onto the MOVs here for the circuit protection. I've wired up the IEC socket, and I've used disconnects on those. I actually really like these spade connectors here. Much sturdier than others that I've used in the past. They're very solid and give me a really good connection on these terminals. Let's see what else. Finished up wiring up all the filaments here, and the rectifier tube socket is fully wired up. I've got the soft fail diodes installed here, the 1N 4007s. And the plate, center tap for the output transformer, the choke, and then these two power supply wires. This one is our screen node, so this will come over here to this terminal strip for the power tubes. So here's a close-up, so you can see these two, the MOV board here, and then the two fuses that are going to be mounted there. And I tried to get the wiring as neat as I could. Let's see. Yeah, there's a view from the top. Okay, so now that I've got some stuff out of my way, I can get back to wiring the tube sockets, these last three. Okay, so I've got the screen grid resistors installed here and the screen wires hooked up here. And I went ahead and attached these grounds as well. So we've got our preamp ground, phase inverter ground, power amp ground, and then those are coming in to the capacitor board here on some disconnects. So the next thing to install is going to be some grid stoppers on the power tubes. And I think I was originally going to go with either 3.3K or 4.7K, I can't remember which, but for the sake of the KT66s, I'm going to go with 10K. You may have also noticed that I put these 100 ohm balancing resistors on the heaters. And so these are tying into the cathode on this tube, and since this is cathode bias, that means we've got a resistor there that'll elevate the voltage of the heaters. So now we have one last terminal strip to install, and this is where the two extra cathode resistors are going to be attached so that we can switch between KT66, 6V6, and 6L6. So this black wire is just a ground connection for these extra cathode resistors. It goes right back to the same location here that the standard cathode resistor is connected. Okay, so now with this switch in the center, neither one of these is going back to ground. With it in the 6L6 position, it engages this actually the 680 ohm resistor in parallel with this 470 ohm. In the KT88 position, or KT66 position, it engages this 470 ohm resistor in parallel with the other 470 ohm. Well, I didn't like the way that I had these wires routed. These are the brown and blue wires are the ones coming over these MOVs, and then they'll be tied into the plates of the power tubes. I had them coming right along here, right up against the heater supply, and I didn't like that. I mean, they'd basically be acting like an antenna for the plates on these power tubes, so that could cause some problems. So instead, I'm bringing them over here, and then they're going to drop down with the two main plate wires coming off of the output transformer. And I'm going to bring them straight over to the plate pin on the power tube sockets, and then drop them straight down. That way they're not crossing over the grid wires, and they're not really coming close to anything. Well, I think that's a pretty good place to stop for this video. I got quite a bit done. All of the tube sockets, all of the power supply wiring, and all that other stuff, that's all done. Only thing left is the front panel, so we'll start working on that in the next video. So that's it for this video. Like it if you like it, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.